Okay, so this is a near diamond support VOD that we're gonna review. It's currently playing Mercy, and Mercy is actually how I hit GM the first time. So this should be right up my alley. So first I'm gonna try and figure out the team comp. This is exactly where it starts. So I see Genji, Ana, dive tanks, alright. And this is a tracer. So right now we have I'm gonna try and draw this with the as best I can. Winston, d.va, and Ana. So these are all your other teammates, right? And of course you are the Mercy. So excuse me. So one problem that I immediately see is that there isn't much peels for the Ana. So all you have is just d.va, and maybe d.va doesn't want to do it, or they commit 3 people for your Ana. They are going to kill your Ana, and there's nothing your d.va can do about it. In fact, if they send 2 people after your d.va, after your Ana, there's probably nothing your d.va can do about it either. So it's possible for you to pick Lucio for a bit of extra peels for your Ana if they commit to a dive strategy, and if they're running maybe literally anything else, you playing Zen on this high ground is really strong as well. Just giving out discords and letting your team dive on the discord attack, and it'll evaporate them. Next thing that is a problem in this team comp for you playing Mercy is that there isn't really a DPS that you can pocket really like all the time as like your default person to pocket. So at best maybe it's your Genji poking from a long distance with your team, but since you're running double flanker, usually they'd be setting up maybe behind them, to the side. They're gonna be far away in a very likely dangerous places that you can't exactly follow, and damage boosting them is risky, and possibly not going to get that much value unless they're really close, which is why I said they're going to be risky. And damage boosting your tanks, since your tanks have a very short range, damage boosting your tanks have short range. These guys have short range, so again, you're not going to be damage boosting them during maybe the poking phase. You are going to only damage boost them when they're already fighting, which is just it's not that it's bad, it's just less value in this specific scenario. And of course you can't damage boost Ana, because if you are damage boosting Ana and Ana is DPSing, who is healing, right? So it's not great. It's not ideal to have Mercy, but I can see it working. Heal our Genji. Our Tracer gets headshot. So I don't know if you damage boosted that dash. I think you did though, and this is good pocketing of your Ana. Let me just see the exact scenario. All right. Yep, that's actually a really fast reaction to your Ana being shot and you healing her. That was good. Your Genji's owning. Okay, so right there, I kind of see you healing full health targets when you should be just focus on damage boosting someone, and your team drops from the front, which is not recommended usually, but see, you are dropping on their backline. So actually, are we even dropping on their backline? Who are we dropping on? Alright, yeah, d.va's there. We're just dropping after their Winston? We're dropping on their Zen, alright. Okay, so your role when you play Ana Mercy is definitely to let your Ana heal the tanks, let her keep your tanks up. And you can focus on healing the DPS more and pocketing the DPS with your damage boost. and that's how you play kind of Mercy as a secondary healer rather than the main healer. And in fact, Mercy is quite rarely the main healer outside of a Mercy Zen in a maybe Pharah Mercy composition. So that's kind of the one scenario where Mercy would be main heals currently. So now you have a Widow. I like that you're damage boosting. Very nice. Okay, I was gonna mention something, but I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait to not say that. Positive reinforcement from your Genji. I wish everyone would be talking more. Bucket the Blade. Nice. That was fairly good movement. So I was going to mention that you actually don't hug corners super closely. You are playing quite loosely, and you can get away with it at lower ranks. But when you get to I mean lower ranks, as in even mid diamond, I suppose, is when it gets a little bit dangerous. Or you're thinking about that res. Okay, so why is this res bad? Or why is it going to be bad? One, not only because the enemies are right there, but because this is in direct line of sight from the enemy's spawn. And unless you guys are literally spawn camping, you're not gonna get this off. Unless your tanks like cover for you with something, and you need to communicate for that. So without saying anything, you're not gonna get this res off. Think about it. Realize it's terrible. Go away. Alright. So damage boost your Widow. Very nice. Just keep damage boosting him. You don't have to heal anyone else. You don't have to heal the tanks. You don't have to heal the tanks. You're stealing ult charge away from your Ana right now. This Valkyrie, I don't think it was quite necessary yet, just to make doubly sure. Yeah, I don't think it was quite necessary yet. Plus, where you should have gone was definitely with the team. So you just kind of alright, I already see a kind of a bad habit that happens. When you Valkyrie, you just kind of hold down the spacebar, and then you just float off into the sky. And that's good sometimes, but in this scenario, it would have been better to continually provide value for your team. So right now you're letting this bomb split you up for a really long time when it really didn't have to. So one area that you can play is using this corner, and you can hide down here, and you wouldn't have died. Or you could have this might have actually worked even better for your team, is that you just follow them in, and you just heal them and damage boost them from in there, so you're not separated at all. So we're about to see where the bomb lands. Yep, playing around this ledge would definitely have let you live. So right now you're not providing value to your team in Valkyrie for, let's see, 1, 2, 3, for about, to your whole team for about, 3 seconds. And Genji actually might have died because of that. Basically, it was possible for you to do more. Right now, your Ana's probably going to die because I already see a nano Winston on him. Yep, there we go, he's dead. Oh, but there was probably no way you were going to save him, barring him hitting a sleep dart at him. But you could have definitely prolonged the life of your Ana enough such that it would, cause trouble for them, rather than letting them kill your Ana so easily. So you can heal your Ana, and once he's going to die, you just get out of the way. And of course you don't stand next to your Ana, so you just don't get zapped at the same time. Just don't get zapped at the same time, and you let your Ana do as much as she can before she dies, and prolong her life and waste the Winston's time for as long as possible. Alright, this is not gonna go well. So, actually you fly there. How do I feel about that? I think it's okay. So immediately, you are trying to heal your tanks far too much. I would refrain from healing them as much as you currently are, and I'll focus on pocketing your Widow as much as possible. And you're not communicating with your team, which is gonna be rough for your... Alright, so when both tanks are low, it's definitely okay to help them out. You are dead. So... I actually don't know why. Alright. So I would have definitely flown all the way up here. All the way up here to reset my to reset GA cooldown. Because even though it's only 2 seconds, that is the window of opportunity to kill a Mercy, right? It's within that 2 seconds. So I'll definitely reset that, heal everyone from up here, and then I'll zip back if I need to. So I'll definitely stand on this high ground. I stand on this high ground for a little bit. Especially since you can still use the range the range of your healing. Was there any way for you to survive? I'm trying to think of it now. Possibly. If you didn't turn right now, if you didn't do this action, you could have gone left and possibly hit behind the bin or the doorway. Possibly. I say possibly. It might not have been possible. Yeah, I'm talking about this doorway right here. You could have hit behind the... So, this quickness of thinking is of where to hide from bombs kind of can't so easily be taught. It's just, you know, thinking where is the shortest path to where the bomb will be. It's like you gotta do a lot of calculations as well. So, you dying here is definitely unfortunate. The D.va, that D.va did a lot with this bomb.
Don't worry, they're not pushing pillars.
Wow, your team is actually putting in work. This, not to mention they actually won. Alright, so I'll definitely return to pocketing the Widow. Right about now. Definitely just stand here with the Widow. Just let him do work. Actually right now you could have gone for this rest immediately. They are very distracted. Yeah, it takes you a while to think about it. Yeah, your team overextends on this one. Not gonna lie. Wait, do you win? Is the whole thing settled here?
Oh, are we losing? Oh, we are.
So I wish your Ana would stand on high ground as well.
I'm gonna touch.
And to some degree I wish your D.va would peel.
Okay, we lost that.
Okay. Now the time of the video makes far more sense.
Well, actually, yeah, we're okay.
So right now you're really focusing on healing. You're healing your tanks just so much, and it's kind of a waste. Oh, actually, that was good GA. You kind of wait for you you wait for the Genji to dash at you, and that causes, and that kind of baits out one cooldown with one GA. So that's how Mercy operates. You bait. You want to waste their resources with GA. Oh, nice. Alright, so you kind of heal the tanks, but the issue right now is, your squishies are being left out high and dry. Yeah, you're not helping on your Ana at all. You're focusing on helping on the front line. You're playing as if you're the main healer, which is which is just not the way you should be playing now. Alright, you wanna go assassinate the Widow? Sure.
I'm gonna jump on Widow. d.va needs stone first. Oh, never mind.
Alright, keep your eye out. Nice. Okay, good job. Definitely in that scenario where you were trying to push through that doorway, you should have been helping out your backline get through as well, so that you can actually take the space for them to stand up there and shoot down rather than getting choked by the Winston. And that means that at the main fight you have two more people helping out. So that would have been good to recognize. You can immediately go for this res. Yep, very nice. Oh, you GA there and I don't know why. Yeah, there was no real reason for you to GA here. It's just a waste. Yeah, Mercy has a lot of micro things that that I can talk about that maybe I can't talk about with other characters. So wasting GAs is kind of a really big deal, because good DPS and good tanks are waiting for you to use GA in a bad way, and when you do that, they'll jump on you and they'll kill you, pretty much. So it's like when the Mercy use GA, jump, and they'll just jump on the Mercy and just kill you. So wasting GAs is kind of bad. Where's your McCree? Yeah, McCree should have definitely dropped to your team. You kind of went on an adventure. Again, you're healing the tanks. Your backline is currently being attacked and you're not helping them out at all. In fact, you're just helping out your front line, who don't necessarily need the help. Yeah, so your priorities are just wrong. Help out your backline more. Help out your backline more. Frontline, don't have to worry. Your Ana's got it. Your Ana has got it. Even if you have minimal faith in your Ana, your Ana kind of your Ana can't miss shots on tanks, right? I hope. I would have Valked right about there, to be honest. So yeah, this is a really late Valk, in my opinion. But your Widow clutched up. Do they have any hit scan? It would have caused you major grief.
On our right side.
So yeah, again, you keep stealing, you keep healing the tanks, and it's just something you don't need to worry about. But yeah, pocket. You can just, if you're not healing the tanks, it means you're pocketing the DPS so much more, or you're healing the Ana, helping him out. But mainly, pocketing the DPS with damage boost. It allows him to charge their ults very fast. You not healing the tanks allows your Ana to charge your ult really fast. So it's just a bit of give and take. Your ult kind of, as a short term, not short term, but in terms of impact, I think nano on a Winston has just far more impact than a Valkyrie. If of course the nano is and Winston is played well. Ooh. Yeah, you kind of didn't heal. You switched the beam off of your Ana. Yeah, you switched the beam off your Ana, and he died to coalescence. And he might not. He would actually have. He might have actually just straight up lived through that coalescence if you were healing him. You need to stop trying to heal your front line so much. This rest, dude, don't do it. You should all just die on cut right now. Yeah, it's not gonna happen. I have to say though that your GA, your Guardian Angel movements are actually quite decent, in that you are not, you're doing long jumps. That was unfortunate. I'm sorry, Anna. No, this was unfortunate. So yeah, although I could say that you wasted some GA here and there, which I mentioned one, but there were a few, and some positional things that I could have mentioned, but you weren't really punished for them, which is why I found it hard to talk about. But I guess I can talk about it now. You tend to not use corners, so you don't peek in and out of corners and continue healing your teammates. You kind of stand wherever the hell you want to in the open, because you are just not being punished for it. And it's not that it's you not being punished for it is good for you. You're obviously not taking damage, but it's not good against higher level opponents who will punish you for it, for being a bit too far out. Plus, technically you're not maximizing the range of your heals. You are playing really, really, really close to the people you want to heal, and you can afford to be quite far from them. Alright, this would yeah, that's a feat. Thought so. I was just gonna say, is he gonna live? And no. And your Winston decides, yes, my D.va has just died. I will die too. Alright, so you're pocketing your baby D.va for a quicker mech, which is fine. But yeah, you notice the people on your team. Who do you want to pocket? Pop quiz. You know the answer. It's gonna have to be the Widow that you want to pocket. So right now you're still pocketing the tanks. Still healing the front line. Plus you're playing in a really, really dangerous position. Alright. I suppose this is a very good example of being in a dangerous position. Alright. Where can you play? Let me pause. Alright, so why is staying here bad? What do they have? So, if they jump you right now with Winston and Genji, you could actually instantly die, because you are not. The Winston has a straight line to you. Okay. This is I suppose it's now a hypothetical, but let's say their Winston was up here, did not with a W. Their Winston has a direct line of sight right here, and if their Genji is set up behind you, and he dashes right to you, you are dead, right? However, if the Winston is in the same position, you are hiding around here with this X right here, and you're healing your team from this position. You can heal them. You can peek in and out and attach your beam and use the stickiness of your beam to heal them. there isn't a straight line for the Winston to jump at you. So the Winston kind of has to do quite like a miracle curve with it, and the Genji can't. And if the Genji comes at you alone, there's no way you'll die because you're just with your entire team, unless he triple headshots you and dashes you. But anyway, that's one of the reasons. I want to see you stick to your backline just so much more. You should heal a Widow, like, immediately. There we go. Well, you see, your movement is actually really good. Okay, not super crazy good, but it's pretty good. If I was only judging based on your movements, I actually think you'd be on a higher rank. You'd be at a higher rank. Even only playing Mercy, I think you'd be a higher rank with this movement. It's just your priorities with your beam that's holding you back. Yeah, there's probably no way you're gonna get out of this one. Let's see. Let me go back. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't paying attention. I was talking so much. All right. We're held up here. We Valk. Why do you Valk? Why do you Valk here? To save this guy? Do you use Valk to save this guy? Oh, whoops! I clicked that. That was my bad. Okay, we're here. We're back here. I'm sorry. Why would you Valk here? Your team isn't really engaging, other than your d.va just going into bomb for some reason, but. You're healing your front line again. Yeah, you see your Widow behind is kind of getting screwed. Yeah, your team kind of really split up on this one. So now you're Brig. Alright. I actually thought, Mercy was actually okay in the team comp that you had with Widow, but I mean, if you feel maybe Brig would work better if you enjoy playing with the front line a lot. Okay, I don't. Okay, I don't understand why you pushed so far. Because you are half health. Yeah, I would have immediately backed. Definitely would have immediately backed for this. I don't see any reason why you should push so far. Your team isn't really engaging for... I'm not gonna lie, it isn't a full-blown fight quite yet. I mean, you see your Winston still rejoining, so you engaging is just feeding. You're kind of trying to force an engagement when your team just wasn't ready. Plus, you could have used E on your... Who is that guy? Your Genji? Oh, sorry, I mean your Doomfist. Could have used E on your Doomfist. Now you can use E on your Winston. Very nice. You seem to be very hyper focused on bash. Alright, now you're backing way too much because you should be with your front line, and your Winston and d.va is just right there, so you can push up. They were making space for you.
Can just come hang around looking for Blade.
So in this scenario against the Zen, I'd have just constantly swing at him. I see no reason for you to shield. You're trying to bash him. Yeah, you're really fixated on bash, and I don't think there wasn't really a need to bash the Zen to kill him. You are already in range, and unless he like triple hit shots you, there's kind of no way that he kills you. He needs to hit a lot of shots in a row to kill you. So for Brig, I say you shouldn't use bash for kills that you can get really easily. For example, at a Zen who doesn't have an escape and doesn't have like a crowd control ability, doesn't have a stun to, prevent you from moving and allows him to get away. He has no escape whatsoever, so there's no real need to use bash on him. However, on something else like maybe a Winston or a d.va who are overextended and for some reason you're bash range, you bash him, your team focus him down. Your team will focus him down, and that's what bash should be used for. Or bash on slippery targets. Like you bash on Genji, like what you intend to do, bash the flankers. Yeah. So you.
Oh, sorry, I woke her up. I was trying to punch the Mario. Wall by the side of. Went up to hit and start.
What I can tell, oh man, there's a big feat. Is the enemy... The enemy isn't really running a very full-on dive comp, but yeah, you should kind of keep track of you should keep track of two people right now. You should keep track of the people that can be a threat to your backline, and right there, and I'll point it out. I'll point it out in a second. You see this? If you see this Genji walking along, you take a mental note of his position and where he can come from. For example, since he's up there, honestly, he can drop on you guys anytime. So in this scenario, I would have liked to see you play with your Ana, because that's kind of who your Genji wants to get. Genji wants to constantly get your Ana. Your Ana has been constantly screwed because you haven't really been helping him much at all, to be honest. So your Ana's actually doing the smart thing and playing opposite. Alright, how does he die? Oh, the Winston just jumps at him. So yeah, I'd have definitely have played with him. He was actually in a pretty good position. Your Ana was actually in a pretty good position. Playing opposite the Genji, playing far from the Winston. So right now you've held on to this rally for a really long time actually. When did you first get it? Got it around here? Okay. Did we have a fight between then? Yeah. It's definitely possible. I think it's definitely possible to use it at some point. Especially to provide armor for your backline. Now that you can use it right about now. You get screwed again. Now you use it. Okay, you could have used it way sooner. For sure, it is far too late. So when's the best time to use rally? It's, well, if you want to go super mathematical, it's like 3.5 seconds, or is it 2.5 seconds before a fight starts, right? So everyone has full armor before a fight starts, but to be honest, that measurement is really hard to say. So I'll just like you, as you guys are moving in to engage, just use the rally. Just use the rally for your backline, especially your other healer. If you as the Brig are the second healer instead of the third healer. Did you? Okay, I think you executed the combo well, but alright. So in this scenario, he's deflecting. You can bash him. deflecting Genji is something you can still bash through. You just can't bash through shields anymore, but you can bash through a deflecting Genji. Genji's deflect. So far this is kind of the same problem with your Mercy, is that you are prioritizing the wrong things currently. You are prioritizing your front line, healing your front line, when your backline is getting screwed. And now your teammates are flaming Diana, but not flaming Diana, but calling out Diana. But actually, it's not really Diana's fault. So yeah, for this one, there's no big flank route for the enemy, so you frontlining here is actually not too bad. It's really hard for them to get to your backline on third point. Unless they were already set up for it before, of course. That's why I anticipate your Ana to just not die at the end. There we go. So it's the same problem. You need to when they have a Genji and Winston, basically that's their dive duo, and they're gonna dive for your backline. So when you see the Winston setting up for a dive, in other words, when he's not in your front line, you should play with your Ana. You can play a bit more reactively. Your tech line actually was doing fine. So you're playing Mercy with you guys are playing Mei Doomfist. Alright, this is a strange team composition, but I can see how it might work. You just freeze their front line and crowd control them to death. So yeah, you're not. So although your team ceiling is really high, you're not going to out heal really high damage team comps, just because they can burst people down really fast. Oops, sorry, I skipped it by accident. Now your Zen, yeah, Zen in my opinion makes far more sense, because now they have no flanker whatsoever, and actually, you know, your team is quite crazy, right? It's like, just pick the Zen, you know, like all by yourself, just do it all by yourself. It's not exactly super easy. You kind of need the assistance of your tanks to dive in with the Doomfist to create space. Alright. Have you even shot anything this entire time? Were there enemies on your screen to shoot at? Oh yeah. There was a Doomfist to Discord right over there, actually. Yeah, you should have Discorded him. And call out the Discord. So yeah, this is...
We just need to group up. Like, that's all we need to do right now. Just get an actual fight together. Okay, now
They're gonna res.
are we all here?
Our May ulted, so we should probably go in.
That's huge. No, we need to push. We need to kill Blaster. Oh. Okay, nice.
So not much to say about your Zen play because the team was having a hard time regrouping and they were pushing up and taking a lot of space. So you could have definitely applied the Discord on the Doomfist. So yeah, you seem to be switching supports without understanding why you want to play what you want to play. So if you, especially if you think that you're flexing to the best possible support in the current scenario, I'm not sure if you think that, of course, unless you're just playing whatever you want to play, but you switching to all these supports is is without necessarily good reason. For example, when you were Mercy, you didn't really have a good DPS to not like the player is good. I mean, you didn't have a appropriate DPS to pocket in that first round when you had Tracer Genji, and when you did have an appropriate DPS, you focused on healing your front line a lot instead of spending a lot more of your time with the backline, damage boosting the Widow and healing Diana, helping Diana out. So that was something that was really, that you should have done with Mercy. Next thing is with Brig. With Brig, you tended to frontline a lot again. You were really fixated on bashing anything that came into range. So if you didn't need to bash, maybe I'm not sure if that's too high level of a concept, but I don't think it is. So basically, if you don't need to bash, just swing at them and just kill them and WM1 lol Brig. For example, on the Zen. But if it's a slippery little thing like your d.va, Winston, yeah, bash them. Which is a lot of meta characters, right? It's because they have mobility, so you can bash them. The next thing is when you played Zen, there wasn't really much to say. So I guess I can speak about this now. Now that you're actually playing Zen on the tank, skip ahead. Alright. So let's see who you leave your ball on. Alright. I suppose you left your ball on the right person then. Alright, that was a big feat. Alright, not bad actually. Could have discarded the best in like maybe a couple of seconds sooner, but otherwise. Yep, you pushed it with your Genji and supported him. Very nice. Let me see anything else. Next thing I noticed is that you are not playing the corner super closely. You're just kind of loosely, you weren't playing the corner. You were just kind of near it. When the Bastion kind of dropped and you see a lot of people here, I would have liked to see you play around this corner. Really close, so you can peek in, you can peek out, and you can peek in. And you can move in and out to shoot. So that if things get dicey, you can hide in here and get the health pack. And hopefully your team is in position so that they can't push all the way here and kill you. So you're not playing the corner as you should, and they just kind of ignored you. So I suppose that's kind of nice. Actually, the Bastion could have killed everyone by... Maybe he could have killed everyone by just staying there.
Just try to use Nano Blade next fight. Yeah, actually, I might play this. d.va, are you good to dive? If you guys are good to dive, I can Nano Blade their group done.
Okay. Let's jump in.
Okay, yeah, I'm blading. Honor?
Going.
Very good, leaving the ball on the Genji. Oh, you just got trans. That is unfortunate.
Are we moving?
Yeah, I'm blading. Honor?
Going.
yeah, you kind of walked closely again, and you didn't use the corner. So Zen range is really far, right? In fact, it's further than Hawk's Hook. So you could have stayed on the cart instead of pushing up like you currently did. And staying on the cart would mean that you're safe from this roadhog.
Are we moving pillar? Are we moving pillar?
No, we're good, we're good. Move it.
Still on a pillar, I think. Watch your Genji.
So that's another issue that was hard to tell with Mercy, is that you weren't using corners. And you're gonna be punished for that harder with Zen, of course, because Zen doesn't have GA to zip around and... Alright, so now it's crunch time.
I'm pushing hog into us. Kill.
That was well done.
Blade again. Hack that
You
Zen.
get-
I need that Zen hack so I can blade. Alright, I'm blading.
You track. Okay, let's focus. Help her healers. Take those hits.
Okay, and you win.
Alright,
So not gonna lie, you weren't a super big influence on the team. In fact, I'd say you were kind of slightly, to a certain degree, you kind of coasted along in that you weren't really a massive burden, but you weren't exactly helping and doing the right things either. So I suppose let's sum up. For your Mercy play, your movement is actually already quite good. It's just your priority. When I say quite good, I mean of course quite good for a player in your rank. So your priority is, with an Ana, you are going to be healing the backline, damage boosting your DPS, instead of healing the tanks as much as you currently are. So your Ana died a lot, and it's not necessarily the Ana's fault. Maybe some were the Ana's fault, of course. Like sometimes he was on low ground where he should have been on high ground. But a lot of it was because he just did not receive help whatsoever from either your d.va or you. So you are going to have to be the one to help out if your d.va isn't going to be doing it. Next thing is for your Brig, which is the same thing as your Ana. Is that you keep focusing on the front line. You keep trying to do damage in the front line rather than protecting the back line, which is of course the main source of your healing, right? So again, when you have an Ana, you want to aim to protect the Ana, especially when they have a dive strategy with Winston and with Genji. They're gonna go after your Ana. So when you see them, walking on high ground and giving your looking at your Ana like a juicy piece of steak, you are going to have to move back to your Ana and support your Ana. However, if you see both Genji and Winston are in front, maybe engaging your front line, yeah, feel free to push up and engage on the front line, provided your Ana is far enough that they cannot so easily dive on him from where they are. So yeah, main priority, protect your Ana if you have one, especially if you're playing Mercy or Brig as the second healer. Next thing with your Zen is that you tend to not use corners very much, so you tend to just stand in the open, and like I mentioned several times, using the corner is just really basic FPS knowledge, I suppose you can say. It's basically basics of how to play an FPS. To use a corner as cover to prevent yourself from taking damage, or prevent yourself from being at risk of taking damage. So for example, the Bastion on that second point, let's see if I can rewind to that. Right about... Okay, we are almost there. So right about here, if you had just, stayed really near the corner and go right, or rather first let me explain. If the Bastion had turned his attention to you for literally 1 second and shot at you, you would be dead. So if he turns to you and he shoots at you, you can immediately duck behind the corner. Maybe you'll be left with, I don't know, 100 HP left, 50 HP left, but you'll be alive and you can get a health pack. So playing near the corner is very much, very, very, very often the difference between life and death and winning and losing. So playing near the corner is something you really need to start doing a lot more, whether it's with Mercy, whether it's with Zen, whether it's with Brig. So another thing with Mercy I'd like to point out is that you didn't stand on high ground as much as you should have. Or rather, not high ground, but you didn't stand far enough for your team. So right about here, like I mentioned before, you could have stood on this high ground for a while and heal your team with the ranged healing of your beam, alright, of your healing beam. And if somebody comes up at you, just GA away, you know, and they had to use some sort of resource to get at you. For example, the Genji has to maybe wall climb up, and that'll waste his time. Or, you know, if he's really, really not smart, he dashes at you. Or the Winston or the D.va will have to jump at you, they'll have to use booster at you, and you can fly away. So this is the specific scenario that I want you to abuse way more as Mercy, just to, you know, get more value out of each GA. And more value doesn't mean a better GA, it's just wasting the enemy's resources, which is therefore a better GA. So what's good about the GA isn't the GA itself, it's what, you know, you're trading the GA for. So if you're trading a GA for jump, perfect. But if you're trading the GA for nothing, then obviously it's not a good GA. So you seem to enjoy playing Mercy. So I think that's all I'm gonna say for now about Mercy and all the supports. Play near corners. Mercy, use the length of your healing. Your GA is already quite good, so you should abuse that. Prioritize healing your backline, damage boosting your backline as much as possible. And yeah, those are the 3 big things that I can say will greatly improve your play. I'd say that if you had prioritized correctly with healing your backline, you might climb quite a lot actually. The prioritizing of your backline is probably the biggest thing that's holding you back from maybe even master rank. So I hope you learned something.